Greetings, fellow residents of White Pine Bay. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to Talking Mrs. Bates, the show where we check into the Bates Motel.
But we don't always check out.
I don't know why I decided to do flapjack noises right there. BlueDragonFive.
Yes.
Would you care for a piece of beef, for a piece of boar jerky?
Well, they say it is the cure-all to life's woes. I'm going to pass on, though. We got stuff to talk about. What are we talking about, Diggy?
Well, tonight we are talking about episode 6 of Bates Motel Season 3, and I think this is a pretty damn monumental episode myself. It is entitled Norma, Louise. Oh yes, oh yes. What do you think of this, BlueDragonFive?
Very interesting. Again, I called it that the 6th episode of Bates Motel seems to be the big game-changing episode of the seasons.
It's like episode 9 of Game of Thrones. Yeah. Basically what happened here is that we've been hyping up the whole, like, oh, Norman's sleeping moment for so long. And I would, it's safe to say it was beyond our expectations, right? When it actually delivered.
I was smiling like you wouldn't believe it. I was geeking out so badly. Oh my God, he's doing it.
And of course, you've been saying the whole time, like, you think he's going to out for Miga, and yeah, to a T, you totally called it.
In this episode too, and I think next episode especially, he's going to be doing his classic, Perkins better than Perkins as well.
Right. So, all right. So, yeah, and did you know that I think it's kind of important to note, kind of interesting to note, actually, that 25 episodes in, we waited a good round 25 episodes into the show to finally get Norman Bates in full mother mode. So what do you think about that? Coincidence or just good timing or what?
Well, let's see. I'm trying to think. 25 more episodes from now. Okay, 25 episodes is 2 seasons and a half. About 2.5 seasons. So that would mean we'd have 2.5 more.
Right.
Now, I'm optimistic. Well, I'm saying more shows, more seasons, better. But keep within.
Well, I mean, we still. Like, let's just go ahead and count. Let's just go ahead and count this. The rest of the episodes. It's like a half a season before that we still have to see.
All right.
Well, anyways, enough stalling around. It's a great episode. I think it's safe to say that Norman definitely steals the show. But let's get right into it.
Okay, set us up, Dickie. Cue us in.
Previously on Bates Motel.
Well, in a nutshell, folks, I'm going to play a little clip just because I can't do it as much justice as this recap does for this episode. Essentially, Norma is confronted with the truth after she strikes a deal up with Bob Paris that essentially is going to get her all the things she desires in life. Things are going well for Norma. As we know, one thing happens nice for one of the members of the Bates family. The other two, none too pleased, none too happy. It doesn't last long for that happiness. And essentially this happens at the end of the episode. Big, huge, monumental moment. Well acted, well summarized here.
He just wants to talk to you. He's telling you he's so sorry that it ever happened. You have to try to understand. It's his fault. Mother, stop it! You're scaring me! Leave me the hell alone! George, there it goes!
Very
Nice.
One of the best
recaps. And we continue the episode pretty much immediately afterwards, wouldn't you say?
Yes, at this juncture.
Sure. Punch him out like a true young Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah. So as you can tell, Norman did not take the Norma leaving after that big shocking revelation well.
But what's so twisted about this whole thing is that throughout the first half of the season, we were getting the whole story of Norman, really growing disattached from Norma. I mean, remember like a few episodes ago, he was literally like pounding on his bed and freaking out. And now it's gotten to the point where he literally cannot exist without Mother. So he creates Mother. So let's go forward.
Yeah, and Norma's not without fault in that, because remember the whole thing, she literally talked him out of suicide, saying we are the same person. And the aftermath of that is like when one of them leaves and the other one's just left alone, there's going to be serious ramifications, and we saw that.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I just love that. I love that moment with the concern on Dylan realizing, oh, no, I shouldn't have hit him. Since I'm thinking in a way he's going to, that somewhat triggers the main blackouts of the episode. Like, I'm kind of reaching to Avengers logic here, but I guess like
that's an interesting theory. I didn't really consider that before. I mean, yeah, you're right. When he's in bed later, okay, well, we'll get to it. But
I'm saying if you want to apply some Avengers logic to it, like it might be like a cognitive, like getting punched may have disaligned some things, maybe kind of synapses might have been crossed or something, but it's debatable. Let's see. So after that. So we see Norma crying as she's driving, and busy doing
so sad.
Yes, and of course, Dylan, being the logical Bruce Wayne guy he is.
Oh dear.
He's calling, saying, "Okay, listen, he's not doing well right now. You gotta get back here, Norma." Well, at least he's texting and everything, trying to reach her by any stretch. And of course, Norma not taking it too well. I love just visually, just seeing her crying while driving. Not doing well. And basically, she kind of overreacts, and when I say kind of, I mean big time. She just pulls over, takes her phone, and you would think, she'll pull a Walter White, she'll just kind of like just smash it against the rock or something. Not the case. Or pull out the memory card, throw it. No, she takes that gun she took at the last episode, which we thought was meant for Caleb, which is not off the table, not meant for Caleb, and she shoots the phone.
Oh yeah. Just straight up like, screw you, phone! Stupid sign!
So basically, if you're going to try, basically no calls for Norma this episode.
Nope. All right.
Such a funny, adorable overreaction. Well, this phone won't stop ringing. I can't deal with anyone right now. I'm going to turn it off. Bam, bam, bam. She shoots it like 3 times, too, by the way. Then we get the best mundane image of the whole episode. Romero shopping at a grocery store, which had me on the floor laughing.
I think that was basically like, I am not entirely unconvinced that these writers aren't writing this show specifically for us, because they're just like, okay, let's see. We had a villain, and BlueDragonFive is really complaining about the whole hospitality thing, so let's write Bob Parrish, who's all about that kind of stuff. And BlueDragonFive likes mundanity, so let's have the most mundane thing possible. Romero shopping for frozen food. Doesn't get much more mundane than that.
Well, they have to recognize that they have such an awesome character. Remember, pretty much anything we do with them is going to be awesome.
Right, of course.
So Romero, he's doing his shopping. He's going there. He's in a parking lot. I just love the image of like cars following him. So like, part of him might think he's trying to get a space, but no, that air of alertness from Romero knows that there's something up here. Guns come out from the car, try shooting at him, and we think he's in the clear as he's pulling his gun, maybe shooting back a little. They go away, and then we see Romero, our poor little Romero. He has been shot and he's wounded, and that is the way you do a cold open. Take that, Gotham.
Indeed.
He's been shot. He's bleeding.
Call him poor little Romero. Never say that again. You can say poor Romero, but never call him little Romero.
Well, I mean, the shot is over his head, makes him look like, oh no, Romero, no! What have you done to my boy? What have you done to my white pine bag? What have you done? Look at that massacre of my boy.
All right, so after the logo, it is 8:45 p.m. in Portland, Oregon. Let me ask, what do you think of this this kind of what's the word? Structure of the episode with the different times.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah, they did kind of give a real timetable. I think the reason for that, it's a stylistic choice to say the least. And I'm not sure it was necessary, but it was cool. Regardless, it was like they're trying to give you a sense of like this has been a really long night. They want to show you just how long it's been. Like all the stuff hit the fan at 8, like around 8. and the aftermath of that, like just within a span of about, give or take 24 hours, like all these big huge events happen, and that's what they're trying to hammer in. Like all these events happen like within a day just because of all the stuff that's been building up to this season. And this is like the sleepless night episode. That is kind of a trope and stuff, a good trope of like your characters are being kind of torn down to their weakest moments or like their most stressed out moments, and you're going to see the physical toll on them throughout the episode, and they're showing you the timetable because of that.
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely it like as Norman goes more and more into madness, I think that's kind of like a good, like it's a good horror movie trope. You know what I mean? Like traditionally bad shit happens at 3 a.m. in horror movies, and what happens right around 3 a.m.? Mother appears. So there you go.
Oh yeah, and of course, interestingly enough, we've never really seen this part of White Pine Bay. We're more kind of like she's in the out. I guess it would be geographically, I could definitely be wrong here. I think I'm getting a sense like on the outside of White Pine Bay.
She's not in White Pine Bay. She's in Portland.
Well, it's still in Oregon, Tiki.
Yeah, I know, but she's not in White Pine Bay. She's clearly in another town.
Well, I mean, so what do you think? You think it's like just on the outskirts, like bridging into another place, or you think it's like there's like a big space in between?
I think Portland is probably like, well, I mean, like to use a geographical example for myself, I live in Petaluma, which is about an hour away from San Francisco. It's like a small little kind of suburb of San Francisco. I think White Pine Bay is probably like a similar situation to Portland, which is obviously one of the big cities in Oregon. So I think White Pine Bay is kind of like, maybe one of the small kind of suburb cities to Portland. That'd be my guess. Yeah, keep in mind, I'm pretty sure White Pine Bay is much like Gravity Falls. It is a fictional location within Oregon.
Yes. Well, yeah. The point is, we've never really seen kind of the city of Oregon, like her going all the way to the city. It's kind of neat to see.
Oregon is a state, BlueDragonFive.
Well, I mean, she's in the city, like a city environment.
I know, but I'm sorry. You just said we never see her go into the city of Oregon. I just had to grill you. I'm sorry.
Fine, the city section of Oregon.
Okay. So, she's picking up a couple bad vibes. She's seeing like a couple kissing, which randomly kind of pisses her off. And then she goes into a clothing store, and I must say, there's like...
Remember, the other important thing in that scene, she sees like a couple kissing, and then kind of this is a good parallel being drawn out to trigger her little flashback later on. She sees a couple kissing, and then she sees a mother and her daughter.
Oh, yeah, okay, right.
Yes.
Yeah, so and she's thinking like a lot about motherhood and parenting and everything like that, and that's going to come to a head later.
And she walks into the New World, which I think is kind of some neat symbolism there. It's like the place is called.
Is that what it's called, the New World?
Yeah, I think it's called New World. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And you know me, I was in heaven with this.
Called Barrel, and does it have Pocahontas in it?
Shouldn't Aladdin have been there? No.
Oh dear.
My point is, you think her going shopping. You know me, I love that because I love Norma fashion.
Of course, and I must say this show, this store has like the most bland music playing. It is just awful.
Yeah, we see like, Norma,
and it's like the person that's working the store is like so miserable, and I think part of the reason she's miserable is because of that, the music. Really quick off-topic thing, even though I know I said that I wouldn't go off-topic. Have you ever heard of Pal's Candy Store? Is that something that's... I think that's something that's just California, right?
Yeah, it's probably just California.
Okay, basically, Pal's Candy Store, every store that there is, it's like a chain in California, probably only in Northern California. It's probably not that big, but literally they have Willy Wonka on a loop. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
That sounds awesome.
It sounds awesome in theory, but I would think that if you work there, it'd get really tiring after a while.
I don't know. It's a really good movie, though.
Fair enough. Okay, anyways, back on track.
Point is, we get Norma in a store, with some great Norma fashion. Hooray for me, yeah. Now, interestingly enough, through this episode, there was some very fascinating psychology going on with Norma in this episode, by the way.
Is there?
Okay. Psychological stuff. Because think about it, through this episode, you're going to see her kind of making herself available and vulnerable. Now, the reason for this, Tiki, I could be stretching a bit here, but the way I've come to learn this is that when I learned this from Jamie Walton, so I've learned this from experience that apparently people who child prostitutes. Now, I'm not saying Norma's that. I'm just following me on this train of thought here. In actuality, child prostitutes, girls who've been sexually abused in childhood, but usually child prostitutes, who've been in that line of work, they will be kind of trained to a lifestyle. Like basically, like it'll be like this really demented thing. Where like if a guy walks in the room, just a random guy walks in the room, they will just instantly walk up to the guy and make themselves like really clingy or like suggestive move towards that guy.
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
I'm not saying that's the exact case for Norma. I'm not saying everyone's like that. What I am saying is you're going to see Norma in this episode being kind of unstable, kind of clinging towards these boundaries. She's just not sure of. She's kind of going over these boundary lines. And I think I'm getting the sense of her putting on this outfit is her trying to get like be noticed by men. Would you say that's possible?
No, yeah, I think that's spot on for sure.
So the point is, like, I like the idea they're showing like she is damaged, and that's why she's kind of making herself vulnerable. And we get a really funny bit before that when she picks out these clothes, like this white jacket, the red. And aside from the jacket, I really like the outfit. I love the red and the black.
Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't really like the jacket too much.
But again, I'm giving the points because I think it's story-wise, it's like showing like she's trying to make her.
She's going out of her usual like awesome fashion sense. Trying something new.
And again, I don't want to sound mean or anything. I think they're going for like kind of a prostitute look with the furry jacket.
Oh dear. Hold it there, BlueDragonFive. Come on now, reel it in. I'm usually the one that's making prostitute jokes. Come on now, what's going on?
No, I'm not. I'm seriously, because we see, I know it's like this ambiguous thing. We see girls in the street kind of wearing a similar thing. So whether it's an actual fashion thing or again, they're on the streets just walking around.
Oh dear. Okay.
Again, a serious point there. It turns like she might be making herself vulnerable and easily noticed by men. So, I
definitely think easily noticed by men is something she's going for sure.
I've talked to people just watching the promo of this, and a lot of them kind of have said to me, like, "Wait, you think she's going undercover as a prostitute?" They're like, "Wait, what?" But then I kind of get it.
No, I don't. I think that's a stretch given the point in the story that we're.
No, I mean,
it's like Romero suddenly asks her, like, Norma, I need you to do something for me. I need you to go undercover as a prostitute, Norma.
Well, again, it's looking at the promo and like just randomly she walks out of the store and then she's in these clothes and she's in a really bad state. So it's kind of like she might be undercover. A lot of people thought she was undercover as a prostitute or something.
But why would she be? I guess
exactly. Look,
I assume you don't watch the actual show because story-wise, why in God's name would she be undercover?
Well, again, they thought it might be like to take Paris down or something, but.
Fair enough.
I mean, okay. We're getting off that. Here's like a really funny line. So basically, she's walking in there trying to change the outfit, and like someone walks up to her, and the lady at the store, and she says this.
You're only supposed to take 3 things. Really? Sorry. There's no one here. Oh, it's Norma Bates. Leave a message, and I'll call you back.
I am so glad you had that too. Good thinking.
So it's just a really funny thing. Just this woman. Forget the prostitute thing. I'm just saying what I've kind of heard is I thought it was an interesting thought to share. But my point is, it's so funny. This woman comes up to Norma. She can obviously she's in such like a scary, emotionally like eyes red with tears, and I walk in there and says, "Really?" And it's fine. There's no one here. Just terrified that woman into submission.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's adorable. Anyway,
yeah, speaking of adorable, her voicemail is also adorable.
It's so funny just how it cuts to that. Meanwhile, with that phone, we see the other side of that is Dylan calling her saying, "Hey, listen, Norma, you gotta get back here. Norman is losing it. You have to get back here, please, Mom, please." We see Norman in bed, and then he brings this up, and I thought it was a good piece of acting, so I get this up here real quick.
Okay.
I'm coming back. She's your mother. She's gotta come back. This is what she does. She leaves. Just like she moved from Arizona and didn't tell you. Just like we moved all those times when we were little. Just like she left her parents. Now she's leaving us too.
Something very interesting about that is that the scene kind of registers on various levels because you'll notice just what Norman's saying to him there, he kind of putting a little emphasis on unlike she left you, like the way she left you, and like us. I think what he's kind of getting at there is like he's still a bit jealous of Dylan on some level. And I think obviously it's going to come back throughout the season.
Yeah, but I really like that. I really like that whole speech because it definitely speaks to like the whole journey that Norma's been on so far in terms of, you know, that really kind of he nails it over the head with his mother, you know, in terms of like, yeah, she does kind of run. That is kind of like her MO when it comes to things.
The brilliant thing about that is, like, at the end of the scene, he has this really pivotal line that he says, like, you don't know her like I do. And of course, big time, he does not know her like he does. Because again, they are the same person.
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes.
Which is fascinating, and I love Dylan in this scene. So again, now I point that out. Maybe there's some emphasis there because later on, I'm thinking if that whole demented love triangle comes back, you got some big thing. Like Norman, even though he's just kind of laying all his emotional cards on the table here. Underneath it all, he's saying, well, yeah, she left you and she went with me, but still she left you and me.
Yeah, I definitely think that we could see that triangle come back. I mean, I think it might even be maybe one of the focal points of the last few episodes.
Because remember, early, just instantly when she left, he said, this is all your fault. She left because of you.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He was very anti-Dylan in that moment.
I mean,
and he, in fact, did not want to borrow Dylan's black socks.
He did not.
At all.
So, I mean, as much as they had that great bonding moment at the end of the last episode, still Norman has some resentment for Dylan's actions there. And of course, I'm sure it's going to come back big time with Caleb at some point.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on. What's going on?
Sure. Let's see. So basically, Dylan in the scene's really good. He's really reassuring. He's saying, "Hey, listen. Of course, she will not leave you." I love that Dylan knows. He just knows how much Norman truly cares about. He knew all the stuff about the father and everything before Norman did. He knows how far Norman will go to protect this kid, and he reassures him, really like a good brother, saying, "Hey, she's coming back. She would never leave you."
Yeah, it's like Dylan is genuinely like making an effort, and I think I don't know. I think you're right on that. I think it's going to be kind of just for nothing in the long run because we all know how Norman ultimately ends up. So it's kind of tragic in a way that, Dylan, he's doing everything he can. He's supporting his brother in light of like all these horrific things that are going on. So really it's a tragedy in a way.
Of course, and something really, really just ominous about the scene here. Again, whether it's maybe with this kind of honesty he's sharing with us, he might be drifting into blackout mode slowly for all we know. But
exactly.
He says
he does mention, he's like, oh, you have it? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, like this.
It feels strange. Come outside my body. It's probably shouldn't get knocked out. I'm sorry I hit you.
I do love just kind of the genuine, like, he apologized. Oh, look, I'm sorry I hit you. Because he didn't mean to hit him, because he knows that's one that's kind of uncalled for. It's kind of a bad move.
Yeah, it's a good bit of acting on his part, where as soon as he hits him in that scene, he instantly realizes it was a mistake. And we will see how much of a mistake it is. Like, as a matter of fact, if Norman keeps slipping in and out of this kind of crazy new world of blackouts that he's entered, we might maybe say that Dylan's punch maybe is one of the triggers to it.
Exactly. And also, it's such a brotherly thing too. Like you hurt your brother, and then you say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't mean it." It's roughhousing going wrong in a way. So there's a true brotherly nature to it in the grand scheme.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Emma enters the fray, and she has a big role in this episode. Emma has a really pivotal role in this episode. We'll discuss later on.
She does.
She does, like indirectly, she does. So Emma enters and she's like, "What happened? You told me get in the office, At the end of the last episode, I want to know what's going on. And then there's Dylan's just being really straightforward with her again, like a classic Bruce Wayne, just laying out the situation. We got to deal with this. We're gonna go through it now. He says, he's worried about Norman, and she's
Norman. Sorry, it felt.
She's more than willing to weigh it out with him. Like she's like, well, what do we do? Like he mentions, like Norma wigged out and she left after I told her the news about the brother, that Caleb and everything. Says, well, she's never left him before like this. So, well, what do we do? Well, we just wait it out. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead with that. But the point is, like, can I? Well, essentially, that is what she's there for. We'll wait this out together later on.
Marty, we have to go back in the future. 45 minutes from now. And wait it out.
So basically, like, she says, "Oh, can I stay here? Well, are you sure you can breathe here? Like, I'm sure I'll be able to breathe. I'll breathe here like I can breathe anywhere other place doing."
That's a good line. And
Yeah.
speaking of poor health problems, you might notice that I have some sinus trouble, so I apologize. So, you know, if you see me blowing my nose or whatever, just like, oh, poor Tiki. He's just like Emma in this episode.
So Dylan is concerned about Tiki as well as Emma, but still Dylan is concerned about the health state of Emma. But he has bigger priorities than Norma at the moment. But still, it's going to come back. Meanwhile, speaking of health concerns, Romero, our old pal, he awakens in a hospital. So thankfully, he's not dead. Were you scared for a moment, Tiki? For a moment, did you think?
No, I don't think. No, I was not, because I didn't like. If he's gonna go, he's going to go out not like that, where it's just some random car and some random bullet.
Well, could you imagine, just real quick? Could you imagine just if they did do it, and then basically the whole thing of the episode would be like they're stuck up in the motel, and basically the motel's being sieged on by Bob Paris's men.
Well, I'm glad that didn't happen, because I would have been kind of pissed off.
Yeah. I'm saying, can you imagine how chaotic that would be, though?
Well, I'm sure we will see Bob Paris kind of strike the motel at some point. That's definitely coming up.
So let's see what's happening with Romero waking up here. Let's see.
Well, the nurse, she's kind of explained the situation like, oh, you have a clip?
Yes.
Got shot. Not gonna die, but you're also not going anywhere for a while.
Where's my phone? Where's in my jacket?
Your phone, your wallet, and your clothes are in the drawer. You don't need those right
No,
now.
I need my phone.
You need to lie still.
No.
Do you need me to make a call for you?
No, I want my damn phone, and I want you to go away.
Hello, it's Norma Bates.
Get to Alex, Norma. I was shot. You got to be very careful. You could be in a lot of danger. So call me. Call me.
You know, I just love the simple touch that he has to repeat "call me" at the end of it.
Call me.
It's a little tendency Romero always has. If you think about it, he always just kind of repeats himself when it's like serious life or death matters, just to emphasize it to Norma, because he knows Norma's not going to listen to him the first time.
Okay, so now let's see. Norma, she buys her clothes, she checks out, and then there's a mysterious car that is following her, and then we get a Psycho reference.
Now, first of all, this man in the car, if I'm correct, I believe I am, it's the same guy ran her off the road. It's our henchman guy.
That makes sense. Okay.
I believe it is. Man, he's been given strict instructions to follow her and tail her, so I'm assuming that whether just instantly take the flash drive from her or not is the instruction that he is definitely supposed to watch over the valuable asset.
Right.
Okay, so basically we have a classic Psycho reference, which is she pulls up to a car lot to exchange cars, not with the knowledge that she's being tailed, but still just because.
I was kind of hoping that the guy was just going to get out of his car and just stand intimidatingly, just like the cop does in the movie. I was really hoping that was going to happen. Because I gotta say, that is probably one of the most suspenseful parts of that whole movie for me, is just seeing that cop just standing there watching her. That was so well done.
Let's see, basically, the salesman has a very similar approach to the Psycho movie, which is the big reference here, so let's play it.
How can I help you, young lady?
You know what? I'm sick of my car. I just want to.
You got a little damage here.
I just want to treat my car. Like now.
Yeah. Yes, Norma can be a little impatient when she's in these states.
So I'm assuming the reference would be that in Psycho, the car dealer is very stubborn about it, and here Norma's just like, no, come on, just no screwing around.
Well, pretty much. Like, the guy, he wasn't like, I wouldn't say stubborn, but he was like just more caught off guard.
He was very hesitant.
Yeah, he was hesitant and caught off guard. As the little suspicious lady comes in and says, "Oh, I want a car." Like, no, I don't need a test drive or anything. This car looks fine. And of course, I think the irony is, I can never prove it, but I'm convinced if it's not the same car, it's a very similar car to the one that Marion Crane drives in Psycho.
I definitely think it's supposed to be a visual homage for sure.
And I do feel a little bad in this scene because, like, I really loved her driving that car. Now it's gone.
I know. It feels like the death of the RV in a way.
Yeah, exactly. That is the perfect comparison. I mean, they made a whole floor it, all that stuff,
and the ongoing saga of of just her whole front of the car just falling off after the Lee Berman sign.
And the visual, and the thing about the visual symbolism, of course, that shows like the Bates family is falling to pieces here, especially Norma.
Sure.
And of course, maybe some other symbolism that she's trying to put a different outward appearance, so she gets a red car, red shirt, red kind of ensemble she's got on, perhaps.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the first scene of next episode will be her like re-exchanging the car.
I can just imagine like kind of one of those weird scenes, or just like kind of like the similar, a bit of like her beating up the bank realtor guy.
Oh God!
I'm just saying, like, give me my car back. Says, well, yeah,
right.
Oh, you could tell I wasn't in an emotional state. Well, I mean, you seemed fine to me. How do you know? I don't know something.
Okay.
So let's see. So then Norma, she takes her, Tiki.
Well, she drives to a motel.
Appropriately enough.
Oh yeah, indeed. And checks in. She looks around the room, and she tries to get to sleep, but a flashback occurs. Do you have it, or should we go through it?
I don't have the flashback. I have a comment on the flashback, but before that, I want to point out that I have a weird little note on this scene. Did the guy, the manager of the motel, the guy checking her in, did he at all look just a smidge Norman Bates-ish to you?
Maybe, perhaps, yeah.
Like, on some level, do you think she picked the place, or at least... this is a long shot. I'm saying on some level, do you think she picked the place because, hey, look, she stuck around the place because, hey, look, this guy kind of reminds me of Norman.
Oh, God.
Because I'm just saying he was
like
dressed...
She's driving around like, oh, I need to find a motel that has a guy behind the desk that looks like Norman!
I mean, it was the demented psychology of, well, yeah, I need Norman in my life. And this is the closest thing. It's a motel. Norman's running it. You know? I'm just saying. It's a long shot. So let's just talk about the flashback here. So, Norma's not doing too good. She's lying on the bed. We get this cool flashback happening, seeing her.
Oh, is it under the bed? I thought it was under the floorboards. Okay, that makes a little more sense.
Well, I mean, she's on the bed flashing back. We see them. They're under like a porch.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
I think they're under like a porch or something. But
yeah, right.
Like literally like where Norman found Juno, like a place like that.
Oh dear. Okay.
Anyway, so we got her and Caleb as young kids, and we don't know. Thankfully, we don't know how intimate the relationship is. I'm just thinking they're noticing each other. That's all I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, right. It's like they're thinking, like, okay, we are we are each other's world at this point.
Exactly. I think it's just like young kids, just like they're literally close in the scene, which I really did like. They're really just closer than two people could be scrunched together under like a porch or a floorboard. Just terrified, and yet you feel really bad for Norma and Caleb there. You kind of, like, in a weird way, you're starting to like slowly put the pieces together as to how they got screwed up.
Exactly, yeah, and I definitely think that I've never fully I mean, of course, when Caleb showed up in season 2, he was definitely like, oh, this guy's a villain. But I think in season 3, they've done a really good job of humanizing him, and I definitely think one of the primary factors of that is we know that, for the most part, the father is really to blame for fucking up both of them.
Exactly. You know something? I think we need some words of wisdom here, and I hope you have some jerky at the ready, because let's hear some words of wisdom from our good old pal Chick Hogan.
You like boar jerky? Life is shit. It's that way for everyone. There's only one thing that makes it better. Boar jerky.
Words of wisdom.
Oh yeah.
So again, one of the things I really love in this episode, in terms of the directing, just the style of it, just the staging was so great, is that the transitions in this episode are fantastic. Because we go from Norma and we look like laying on the bed, we get that classic kind of the shot that's on some of the posters of like from season 2 of them lying in bed.
Yeah, straight off of the season 2 poster for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Then we
I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it in my frame?
Which side? Oh, I see it. It's above your head. I see it now.
Yes.
Yeah,
There
literally, folks, the thing that's on the upper left-hand corner of Tiki's head right now, that's it.
Indeed.
Anyway, so again, we get a kind of a cool, basically the Norman side of that. We transition to Norman in bed, sleeping. And then he awakens, and we see kind of. I love this shot. It's kind of a fake out shot, because at first I thought we were going to get like him having hallucinations again.
I absolutely agree. I totally thought we were going to get like the reemergence of Mother.
Yes, because we saw a figure with kind of we saw this figure like in the rocking chair, and at first I thought, oh my god, is it? But no, it's Emma. Emma really has to think of like her placing with that rocking chair. She's always just kind of ominously looking over in bed. I'm just saying. Like, also, it's kind of a noisy chair. It's bound to wake him up. I'm surprised she hasn't thought of that by now. Anyway, so after that really cool rocking chair shot, again, Psycho homage, big time.
Indeed. Yeah, for sure.
Norman's awakened, and he hears a sound. Let's play that sound. Let's kind of go with Norman here. We're going a little auditory adventure here.
Oh dear.
Where are you?
Going down the halls.
Mother? Where are you?
Going into her room. A lot of moths. Well, that's not right.
I think the only thing that would have made that scene even better if it was a room full of crows instead of moths.
That would have been cool, but you know what I think it's like? I think it's kind of getting at one with the cracking in the wall. I think that might be a way we're going to get the peephole.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
I'm thinking in some way it's like this. I think the big thing in that scene with that black is so we get to see a bit of what Norman goes through when he's having the. In terms of black MO, this is kind of the transition between phases. So this is kind of going from the strong hallucination phase to a bit of like these overwhelmed by hallucinations to blackout.
Exactly. So, yeah.
With that, like it's usually extremely violent images or extremely disturbing images, and here is like extremely disturbing. I think the message of this is that it's like dilapidation and just like decay, which of course does factor in big time to taxidermy, which might lead him down to the taxidermy basement. So maybe that's why he heads down there with all the moths. I'm thinking the moths symbolize like it's like just transformation, obviously.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I also like in the scene how he's still calling for Mother.
Yes.
Like, Mother, where are you?
And just be the Silence of the Lamb fan to me. I know it has no correlation, but it's just fun to see like moths used so creepily.
Yeah, I hear you.
So it was just cool and creepy, and that's how you're gonna give him the black. And when he awakens, and oh boy.
Okay, so it's midnight, and Dylan's having a little private chat with Caleb in his RV, and what's he telling him?
I'm sorry. One thing, real quick. I just remember this real quick before I forget about it. There's also Emma made Norman a sandwich.
That's great. I totally didn't notice that.
I could be wrong, but every time I rewound it, I saw like a plate, and it looked like there was a sandwich on it on the bed. So
you know what that means, BlueDragonFive?
She's a nice girl.
Indeed.
Oh God. Okay, so yeah, take us to the Caleb, a little Caleb chat here.
Okay, well, basically, he kind of just explains the situation up front. He's like, first of all, Norman didn't tell her. I did. I came clean. And she doesn't want to see you, so you have to leave.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I really like this scene because it's short, but it's like both of them are super emotional about it.
Yes, I mean, I just love how the directing is really good in this episode. How they just kind of hold on the shots from each perspective, like Dylan kind of walking away, and he feels really, you can have sad Dylan music, da 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 da. It's just
young Bruce Wayne.
His parents got shot.
Oh God. Oh God.
Anyway, his father raped his mother.
Okay.
And anyway, point is, you feel really bad for Dylan having to tell it because he was kind of in a weird, demented way bonding with Caleb.
He genuinely was. Yeah, I wouldn't even say in a weird, demented way. I would say he was genuinely bonded with Caleb in spite of weird and demented circumstances.
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it, Tiki. Yes. So there's that, but then the scene that really breaks your heart, and again, it's so funny. We root for this guy now. We see Caleb just kind of watching Dylan sorrowfully from walking away. It's like my son is walking away from me. And he has good reasoning to do that, but I can never see him again, and that saddens me.
Now, I want to bring up like one little criticism with the show, and you mentioned earlier, kind of like women who have been the victim of abuse, and I definitely think that women just in general have not really taken to the Caleb character because they just find him just completely unforgivable. What do you think of that? Because obviously, like us being men, we can't really fully comprehend, just how bad Caleb was. I mean, it's like, of course, it's terrible, but unless you're a woman, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. So what do you think?
Well, I'm going to say
getting all political here for a sec.
Yeah, just two things. Well, one, I mean, I think the reason mainly for that is because they've been ambiguous about like what the extra circumstances were. Because when you just blatantly say, as Norma said in the beginning, he raped me, that just pretty much colors the perception of this guy from the beginning. Like, oh, it's a horrible like rapist monster guy, which isn't entirely wrong. Again, we don't know all the facts, and just from what's been revealed at this point, it's like it started out more lovingly. We get how it started, but then it just had a dark turn we still haven't seen yet, but a dark turn.
Oh,
we've only gotten a glimpse of that dark turn in season 2. Remember?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like a brief horrifying glimpse at it. Now, the other thing though, it's funny. Again, I talk to people about this show, and they're usually women, like secretaries. I'm in contact.
Okay.
And again, whenever we talk about it, like they're always saying they're pretty open about it. Like they're not. Obviously, the whole thing about rape is something that just kind of it sticks with them as like this guy's a bad guy. Then they're hearing this in additional detail, so they are willing to hear both sides, but they still are coloring him as kind of like a dangerous guy.
I mean, I'm certainly not saying that every female thinks like this. I'm just saying I think it can be a concern specifically for like you mentioned, specifically for people who have gone through sexual abuse themselves. You know what I mean? It's like just anything that would remind them of that sort of experience would be just something that would turn them off immediately in a very personal way.
Exactly. Using that just to transition to our next scene. So again, Norma, because she's so sad. Oh my god, that is so wonderful. She goes to a bar.
We need a Norma so sad.
Maybe. So let's see. So she goes to a bar.
Indeed,
and
indeed.
Some guy gives her like a lame pickup line or something.
Well, his pickup line is "You look like you're gonna cry."
Oh yeah. I misread my notes here. Yeah, the gonna cry pickup line. You look like you're gonna cry. No, I'm just saying you look like you're gonna cry.
And I think the thing that wins Norma over is he says, she's like, "Oh, well, what if you're gonna cry? What if it's just you're projecting it onto me?" And he's like, "Well, it wouldn't be the first time I cried, and it wouldn't be the last." I think right there she's like, "Oh, I like this guy. Okay, let's see where this goes."
So this guy's name is Taylor, and she introduces herself as Norma Louise Calhoun. So that's very important. So her
indeed.
So again, think about this, Dee. So again, her mental state right now, she's going to a place of vulnerability because she is just kind of shaken for the events. It's funny, like I'm just speculating on this right now on the spot here, that okay, so Norman, the person she cares about most in this world, says, "Listen, you got to hear the rapist, this person you cared about who turned rapist in the end out." And this is me telling you this, me, the other flip side of your coin, telling you this. Norma just can't deal with that. She runs away, and she just kind of reverts to that state where she was so vulnerable with Caleb. So that's maybe why she's just going into that vulnerable state in that place where boundaries were just.
So you're saying maybe she's like kind of like taking the issue on head on without actually confronting Caleb?
Exactly. It's like she's just those boundary lines are blurred, and that's kind of what she's doing right now. She's just kind of just being put in a vulnerable position, trying to recreate the moment in some way. unbeknownst to
can see
herself.
that.
Like, she's not doing it intentionally. That's important. She's not doing it intentionally. She's just doing these things. So
Right, like definitely subconsciously for sure.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So again, I also just want to make the point clear. Again, I'm not saying that the women who are or have been victimized are always like this. It's not the case. I'm just saying
No,
that
of course not. Of course not.
I'm just saying it makes sense that you go through something like that, putting yourself in a vulnerable state unbeknownst to yourself.
Sure. Okay, so the two of them are dancing to some nice country music, and Norma kind of makes up an interesting lie. She's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I ran out on my wedding just now. He was a nice guy, but I just couldn't do it. Now, do you think she's talking about Norman?
You know, I think she is.
I think so, too. I think so. And it just adds just another demented little wrinkle into the love triangle, and I love it.
And oh yeah, it's brilliant. I love the line following it though, like the little I have it here for you folks. This is I love this. Basically, it says I'm sorry. First of all, the whole pathological liar thing. So Norma is a pathological liar. She has done that for safety's sake, and like when she's at the whole one of your favorite bits of season 2, the whole Grand Canyon story, and how she keeps
right.
Yeah, how she keeps changing the backstory all the time. She is somewhat of a pathological liar. Question is how much of that is just reflex action and how much of that is intentional. I'm getting a sense of reflex action here.
Definitely, yeah, for sure.
And then we get this scene, which is kind of fitting with that, but still a lot of inkling of truth in it. It's kind of the Walter White philosophy here. But let's play.
Maybe once. Really. There is something wrong. Mentally. No, stay together. So I had to kill him.
What's so interesting about that?
Hmm?
What's so interesting about this is, again, we saw in Norman's blackout mode, he saw Norma kill his father.
Right.
So I think it might be some foreshadowing there. We might see that
I definitely think it's foreshadowing, yeah, because we know eventually, the biggest moment of the show that is building up is eventually Norman is going to kill Norma. It is going to happen.
Of course, man. We don't know the method. They might change up the method because originally it was just poisoning. But I'm thinking it's
sure. I would hope they. Well, I wouldn't say I would hope, but I don't know. I hope that they come up with something creative, regardless if it's poisoning or whatever. But
yeah, we shouldn't hold them to a T to the movie.
Sure. Like we were saying about how he might not kill the husband and her at the exact same time.
Exactly. So it could be a boyfriend, but yeah.
Right.
Well, we don't know. So by all means. And anyway, so it's the idea she's saying, well, I had to kill him. And again, I think it's like she's haunted on some of the she had to pretend she didn't kill him, but that whole ambiguity of death of her husband, which is going to come back into play in a later scene, just is in the air right now.
Big time.
With this. So let's see. So after a little dancing, the married line. So the point is she's getting really schlockered at this point. She's drunk. She's basically clinging on to the guy because she can't dance. And then I remember this. I wrote down a hello from down south. She's getting kind of handsy with her while she's drunk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I only caught that in the second time, but I was like, oh boy, someone's a little frisky.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh god. Okay. Meanwhile, so then Norma, and. I write the N for the abbreviation. I gotta remind myself which one's which sometimes. Sorry. Norma and Taylor, they're kissing and they're getting frisky in his car, his truck, or whatever, and then he's getting really frisky, and she's like, "Well, what's going on here?" The guy's starting to get into that rapey vibe. She spits in his face and gets out of there.
Pulling off the belt.
Oh god. Pulling off the belt, yeah. She spits in his face, gets out of there. He does. I'm surprised they got away with this. This is really, they did the whole thing where, again, I don't think I'm making that much of a stretch with the prostitute thing. Because again, I think he's making this leap because of the jacket she's wearing. I could be wrong, but I think there's a bit of that there because he literally puts her head down.
So you're saying he literally thinks she was a prostitute?
I think it's open to that, Tiki. I truly do think it might be open.
I wasn't reading it that way. Just I don't know, unless it's kind of like the you know, the hooker with a heart of gold cliche where it's like, oh, it's a prostitute that's sad. It's a sad prostitute.
Well, I'm saying, look, think of Wendy from Breaking Bad. Remember Wendy? Remember she wore the kind
everyone knows it's Wendy.
I'm just saying, whenever you see kind of prostitutes on TV, they're all wearing the same getup she's wearing right now.
That makes sense. Okay, good point.
All I'm saying is that it's open to interpretation, and he is probably misreading it on some, like, whether he's saying it or not. He's like, well, she must be easy, or else she dressed as tramply.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so then this happens. This awesome moment happens. So basically, he's obviously upset. Well, you shouldn't believe it. You shouldn't get a guy all fired up like that and toy with him. He's like, leave me alone. And basically, let's just describe how this guy's acting right now to appease Tiki. That's what you would say to him. And basically, the response is this.
You're freaking mess, lady!
Which reminds us of this.
Screw off!
So again, reminds us of this.
Good job. That was some good editing on your part. All right. Okay, next. What do we got?
Let's see.
Oh God, this is one of the most disturbing scenes of the episode for sure.
Oh yes. So let's see. So Norman again. Nice, maybe potential bit of foreshadowing there that he saw decay and kind of led him down to. The point is, folks, he's in stage 3 blackout mode right now, so he's in kind of a zombified state. He's going down there, and he's also hallucinating. So he's kind of going back and forth in his blackout modes here. Really terrifying. So he's having strong hallucinations. So he got himself down there somehow. He's doing taxidermy, and he's doing a pigeon, and it's bleeding. And
I thought it was a crow.
No, it's a pigeon.
Are you sure it's black?
You sure it was black? I don't think it was black.
I'm sure it's black.
Well, you could be right. I'm not. I don't know. I thought it was a pigeon. It looked gray to me. I don't know why. But I'd probably misremembering. The point is, a bird of some sort, of some variety, is being cut into, and it's bleeding profusely, which kind of gives you the implication that it's alive and starting to flap about and everything. And then Juno.
Oh God.
So again, he's doing taxidermy on a live animal, which is creepy. But then Juno comes in there, and it's the idea that in blackout mode, when he does his taxidermy, they're alive when he's doing it.
Oh God! Right. Oh, that is so. Oh,
I lost it.
Terrible.
At first, I just thought it was like a weird flurry because birds have grave importance in the psycho universe.
Of course.
And just when Juno comes down there, it's like, oh my God, Juno's alive again. There's Norman talking to her too. It's like, not Juno, you're scaring her. Oh my God. So Norman is losing it big time. I just love that. And then he's killing the bird too, like shaking it around. Like we see him out of Blackout, we see from the perspective outside of Blackout, he's just shaking the bird as if it were alive.
Exactly. Oh, God, I love so good.
With the sound design, just with the score, I've always loved this. I just love just that little ping of like you hear like little psychological like little like you have a wine glass, you're making that little noise with it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know, that little just like little resonance like frequency noise, like like the hypnosis music.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, really good stuff. Really terrifying. So now it's 2:20. That's right, 2:12. And
right,
so Norman is, so Norman's still in his blackout mode trance, and like Emma's for the first time is seeing like him in true blackout mode state right now. So he's in full stage 3 right now. So she'll have waving the hands in front of him, nothing. She's like,
absolutely nothing. Completely dark.
He's just giving the classic Highmore Perkins grin here, like just like the grimace, like the look. Just look. Oh my God, it's so great. Anyways, Emma's like raising logical questions here. Well, what you do? Should we call like an ambulance or something? And I love this. Just Dylan being the experienced young Bruce Wayne that he is.
Oh dear.
He just like gives. Well, what do? We weigh it out. It's the only thing we can do. Oh boy, just like I love Dylan in this episode. Dylan's just faced with the impossible, and he's just trying to keep his head above water. Just like thinking, it reminds me again. Well, I'll save it for later on. It just reminds me of just like dealing with how you would deal with someone in that mental state.
Exactly. Right.
You just have to, believe it or not, you have to abide by. It's like the sleepwalker. You can't shake the sleepwalker out, or it might damage something.
Sure.
Okay,
so next up we have Norma, and she's calling Mr. Therapist. She's calling Finnegan on a payphone. Do you know how hard it is to find a payphone?
So yeah, she's completely schlockered. She's calling Fink at the middle of the night. He's sleeping. Is like, well, basically, she's really vulnerable. Again, she's very vulnerable, asking if she can come over.
Oh yeah.
And again, how can you turn down sweet old Norma Bates? You know what she deserves, Tiki.
Huh.
You know what she deserves.
Oh God, hold on. Don't talk. Whoa.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. She deserves free hugs, and let me get that sign up in just a second. Hold on. Ah, my speakers literally just dropped. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. That was bad. Yeah, that's what she deserves, right there.
Free hugs for Norma Bates. That should be a presidential platform of some kind. So then, Norman, back to Norman. So again, these two, the editing in this episode is really good. They're just so paralleled so well from Norman to Norma. This episode, think about it. Like they're a part of this whole episode that we keep cutting back between the two.
Once I take down the sign, it's always really hard to get it back up. God damn it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, so then we cut back to Norman here.
Oh God.
Okay, so Emma has just made a very, very bad mistake.
Yeah. Oh God, yes.
Okay, so two things right off the bat. First of all, again, just he's in full phase 3 Blackouts. So he's in like that zombified state where he's out of body experience pretty much. Like he's not in control of his actions right now. He's not full Norma yet, but he's just a entity.
Indeed,
He's basically a puppet. He's a puppet to, I guess, Norma's will or his own subconscious will. Just
he's a
basically
puppet on
strings. I just so creepy seeing him. I want my mother. I just imagine what Emma's thinking this whole time of like, oh my God, I've never seen Norman this vulnerable, which we're gonna get a little insight to her mind by the end of this.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah.
So yeah, really fascinating stuff, and then of course Emma, sweet Emma, just trying to help because she's a nice girl.
Oh dear.
She says, well, what do we do? Well, I mean, we're kind of playing the wait and see attitude right now. Maybe we'll put him in his mom's bed. Maybe that'll make him feel good. She says he wants his mother. Let's give him the closest thing to his mother he can get, which he's going to go horribly wrong.
Oh dear. No, Emma. No. A million times no.
Yeah. Again, sweet kid, but misguided.
Oh dear.
I mean, the points you gotta give her points for some effort here, but again, it's gonna go south big time in a really awesome, awe-strucking way. But we're gonna get to that. We're building to that, folks. So stay with us. Let's see. So then Emma, she proceeds to cough through the scene after they put Norm in the bed, and we got a really good Dylan Emma moment here. She's coughing profusely, and then she mentions this to Dylan. Sorry, I just want to get that out beforehand. It's a funny. Okay,
wait, what was that? I missed that.
This is what Dylan would say after all the mother references.
Okay. Got it.
Sorry, I love that clip. I forgot to put it in there. Okay.
You okay?
I know it's attractive. I know this sounds weird, but could you possibly bang on my chest? After all this crap, cut out. I know it's disgusting. My dad normally has the honors, but
Mention.
Of course.
Yeah. So for you folks at home, they're on the bathroom floor right now.
pound on my chest like this. You gotta do hard. You gotta knock all the stuff to the walls in my lungs.
I don't want to hurt you.
You won't. I'm tougher than I look. You gotta do harder. Yeah, that's better.
Now, to spare you folks some nightmares, let me just say she's just coughing up the some fluid I assume is a result of the CF onto the floor. And she says, "Yeah, I'll clean it up and just don't be a nice guy." He said, "No, don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm sorry I kept you here. I didn't realize it was going to be this much of a problem." He says, "No, it's not a problem at all." Really sweet. First of all, I just love the fact Dylan helping her out. Doing being a nice guy is helping around this moment of need where she does actually need someone. So whether as strong a front she is putting up about her CF condition, which we've seen in her wonderful blog, she's mentioned time and time again. This is my condition. I know my limitations and whatnot. She does need a hand, and she's very forefront about this. Usually my father has the honors. This father, yeah. She does need a hand here, and of course Norman's incapacitated. So who's the best? Again, it's fascinating how much in common she and Dylan truly have when you think about it. They both are they're on the outs. One of the parents has abandoned them, and they have a strained relationship with a parent, and they're trying to reconnect in some way. And Emma, in a similar vein of trying to reconnect with her mother through Norma, and trying to kind of find an extended family through the Bates family. She does truly care, and she wants in on the family, much like Dylan does. So it's a really fascinating dynamic there between these two.
Yeah, they've really built up all these characters like really well in terms of how they relate to the overall sort of Bates family, for sure.
There's I found out today. Apparently, there's a Dema shipper. There's Dema shipping.
I'm not down for that.
I know you gotta remember, Tiki. There's shipping for everything, so there's a lot of the only two valid ones are actually Nema and Normero. Yeah, man. Basically, when it comes to shipping, Tiki, there's everything. Everything is shipped. Even the most ridiculous things you can think of are shipped. I told you today there was. You remember? There's Iron Man Bruce Banner.
Okay, so what's the most ridiculous ship on Bates Motel that you could possibly think of?
Well, you go first.
Chick Hogan's and Romero, because you gotta love that Borge. Okay.
And that is ridiculous. You want the most ridiculous one? The absolutely most ridiculous one I can think of? Rex and Juno.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Runo.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
You said the most ridiculous.
That's true. That's true.
And
all
anyway,
right,
one pertinent thing to point out here is that perhaps I was just expecting this throughout the scene that Norman was going to be peering through there for some reason, just like.
Oh man, I kind of wish they would have done that.
And you know what they might do? There is a slim chance of it because again, we don't see what Norman was doing, and again, he is trying to shifting modes at the moment. So potentially, as his next transformation, he is watching this transfer, and he is seeing because the framing of this is like Dylan is over Emma, beating on her chest. So I'm just
exactly.
Like open, the bathroom door's open and everything. Is the way it's shot makes me think there has to be something of like someone peering through there. So what it might be, potentially for next time, we might see like kind of a Breaking Bad stuff from the other side of that situation going on.
I'm hoping that we see like some. Oops. I missed.
Like an irrational jealousy of like obviously Dylan and Emma, they're not together, but maybe Norman will misconstrue that.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that we see even beyond that, I'm hoping we definitely see some sort of flashbacks toward this episode. I think especially like anything that's post full on Norma mode.
Yeah. I'm saying, can you still imagine how twisted it is if Norma saw this happen, then she like told Norman about it in some way?
Well,
I can't.
Specifically, I want to see the moment where Emma sees it.
Oh well, when she sees that, I'm just gonna be fast. My jaw's gonna be on the ground. Oh my God, they're doing
it. Okay.
Anyways, so back to the episode. So let's see, blood on the floor.
Well, Norma, she's arriving at.
Wait, I have. Let me play you the best clip ever.
Hi, how's it going?
let me finish. Let me finish it.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, drunk Norma is the funniest thing I've seen in Bates Motel.
She is pretty awesome.
Yes. Well, hi. Oh my God. It's like it's like Elsa when she's sick, you know.
Right.
It's
What
just
would you say?
it's just the most adorable, yet just kind of loopy delivery of that line. I guess.
And then
Anyways,
we do get an ominous shot of the Bob Harris's henchman just watching her in the car.
so I can imagine there's a scene later on. I kind of wish they cut back to him, just get his reaction, like rolling his eyes or something. Like, oh god, this is cheesy. So anyway, so Norma is stopping by Finnegan's house as she said on the phone, and we see she's being tailed, as you just said. Then cutting back to another fantastic scene, and it's one of the big, huge scenes, and that's short of our big kind of, as I like to nickname it, Freddie Highmore's bid for Emmy. We have this happening with our old ominous pal Marcus Young.
How you doing, Sheriff? Relax. I'm not here to finish the job. What are you here for? If I'm talking much at the club, Bob's done with you. Says you're not good to him anymore. They're gonna kill you. Should have gotten the flash drive back from that woman. For my money, though, it's a waste in killing you. I am going to be the sheriff here. That's a done deal. But you know this place, the ins and outs. I could use a guy like you. I could keep you alive. I can handle Bob. He just needs to know you're working for me. Think about it. I'll be back tomorrow for an answer. Then we'll proceed one way.
How do you? Oh, I'm sorry.
So let me just take a moment to acknowledge how great our villains of this season are. With that said, you know.
And how do we think that Romero's going to respond to this whole like, oh yeah, you can work for me. You can totally work for me.
Yeah, let's see how he responds to that. Course of action. So again, mind you, there's been a lot of tension set up here, and it's about to get really awesome.
Oh yeah.
But before we proceed, let's just have a moment just to remind the folks what kind of fun villain Marcus Young is.
How about a smile, Sheriff? Relax. It's not good for your heart.
And let's see how that what path that ultimately led him down to. So he's going to the parking garage. He's made his point. He's heading home, and then this happens. So let me spell that out for the nice folks at home. So Romero, because he's the awesome guy he is, in a hospital bed, I should know. He's probably not in the best of health states right now, but he's still he can walk about a little. He probably shouldn't be, but he can. Surprisingly, in his black socks, I'm pretty sure.
Oh dear. These black socks?
Yes. In response to Marcus Young's generous offer of, hey, I'm going to keep you alive, you just be my little my little henchman guy on the side. I'm going to just convince Paris that I need you. Which is insulting on its face. Even after this young man, this literally young man, Marcus Young, drank his water, pulled a reverse Nick Ford, took something that was his without asking, drank his water, which was a funny touch, by the way, goes to his car, Romero, being the awesome guy, takes like the IV stand or something, crashes it through the glass.
Right.
Fights him off a little, takes his gun, he's like doing like the thing where like beating his head and like to keep him back while he's grabbing the gun, really funny, really awesome. And he just shoots him, which oh my god. Shoots him, kills him, moves him over, and drives off in the car.
I definitely didn't think that Marcus Young would be dying that soon.
Yes, and let's just address this right now, folks. In terms of the death odds, yeah, we're kicking ourselves for not putting Marcus Young on there earlier. So we're gonna learn from our mistakes, and we're just gonna, just so you know, future reference, we're gonna add just for safety's sake now, because apparently people can die like that. Bob Paris
exactly.
and Professor James Finnegan, just for safety's sake.
What about Chick Hogan? I just realized. Should we add him?
You know, we probably should.
Because of the board, okay?
Yes.
All right.
So
all right.
for safety's sake, we're putting pretty much all the people on the table at this point.
Right.
Because if they can go like Marcus Young, and that's what a way to go, by the way.
Yeah, they were building him up too. They were like, okay, this guy's going to be a real problem for Romero. Nope, Romero's awesome. He's going to take him out like that. Child's play.
But seriously, even with a guy who meets his end like that, he was such a great and intimidating foe in the scenes he did have. Like, he was the guy who challenged Romero. Of course, you challenge Romero, you don't fare well.
No, of course not.
And just let's have a moment of remembrance for our Romero killed foe here. Just a small moment of remembrance, like a funny interaction between these two guys, is just gonna stick with us. It's like a fun little nod to Marcus Young's unsaid past.
Hogan, Soldier House in Missouri. Condo. It's a condo.
Yes.
It is indeed.
He had a condo and he was proud of it. That Marcus Young, he stood for things. Moving on.
Yes. So let's see, where are we now? Oh, are we at the scene? No, we're not. Okay, it's 2:36 at the therapist's house, and Norma, she's kind of just explaining the situation she's in, with she's kind of vague about it. She's saying like, well, my kids want me to talk to my brother who was really terrible to me as a kid, and I don't want to face it. So again, she's basically telling him the truth, just not telling him like all the details of it.
Yeah, let me play you a little bit of how this is. This is a fantastic scene from Vera Farmiga, by the way. So again, this is kind of her Emmy bid, and I think it would be well deserved. This scene is really well delivered, isn't it?
Thank you.
You got some Miss Piggy cries on Norma there.
You know how my husband was in an accident? Yeah. It wasn't an accident.
Your son did it.
It wasn't like that. He was defending me. He was blacked out. He didn't know. I called the insurance company. I told them it was an accident because I didn't want them to take him away from me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God, I hate myself. I shouldn't have told you. I told you. Why did I tell you? This is. You have to forget about what I just said, okay? Promise me that you will forget everything I said. Promise me! Promise me!
Norma, I promise.
Okay, I don't know why I even came here. Honestly, I'm so drunk. like so many things that I've said.
Okay,
So many things that I've said.
Norma, stop. Norma.
And I can't help but think what Chick Hogan would say in response to that scene. Let's see what he would say. So what would he say?
That happened to you. Want to hug it out?
Which makes me think, you know what Norma needs right now, Tiki?
What?
I think she needs some free hugs. Let's give Norma some free hugs.
Oh God, you're gonna make me grab that sign again. Fine. Free hugs for Norma. Indeed.
Free hugs for Norma. Oh my God, this scene was really fantastic, was it not?
Yeah, it was. It really was. I mean, she just goes through a whole gauntlet of emotions, like she's just letting it out all out, and then realize, it's like, and then my favorite moment, of course, is just like, look, I am so drunk.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a bit of comedy within the drama. Of course, we get the classic thing of Norma versus kind of making a dramatic exit. or
Sure,
entrance
sure.
into something. Doors and making exits in general are kind of not her forte.
Classic, of course.
And,
Very
I
much
gotta
a
say,
staple of the show.
exactly. And I gotta tell you, so the scene was really great. So the idea that the length she will go to protect her son, she has done something she never in a million years thought she would, like, kind of sell out her son in some way. Obviously, she didn't really sell him out, but she's talking to a therapist under, like the whole confidentiality thing.
Sure, right.
But still, I mean, first of all, right off the bat, we got a guy like Finnegan here who's able to get that out of Norma Bates of all people. I mean, this guy, I'm really liking Finnegan. I really am.
No, I am too. He definitely seems like he's he's definitely, like, obviously the most compassionate of all of Norma's love interests so far. I mean, as much as we love Romero, he's kind of a bit of a badass. I don't think he's going to be all touchy-feely like this guy is.
I mean, this is the only guy who's truly found out, aside from Dylan and Norman himself, outside the Bates family, who's found out the truth about Norman, and he's taken it pretty well. I mean, he's trained to do
Even
that.
Even Emma doesn't know that, right?
Yeah, even Emma does not know that.
Uh-huh.
But still, he took it pretty well. I mean, this guy, he's scoring major points so far, and he's really supportive. He's there for her. He's the guy saying, "Listen, Norman, it's gonna be okay." And it's funny. I read an article between Kelly Aaron, the writer, and Vera Farmiga, and they said as much as Norma may have feelings for Norman, she needs that security of a strong male.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's like she needs those caring arms that Finnegan offered her in that moment with the free hugs.
Oh dear, I'm not taking down that sign again. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm just saying the free hugs. We don't have to take down the sign. We just need the point is, we got some free hugs, really nice, and then Finnegan, he being a therapist, he's not supposed to get too intimate with his patients, even though he said it's not a problem. But still, in this moment of vulnerability, he really shouldn't be doing this. And he points out there as he heroically puts her to bed. And by the way, it's the moment where he just scoops her up in his arms heroically. I really love that moment. It's like, yay for Norma. That's nice for her. And again, I'm just imagining that henchman on the outside is like, wait, what is going on here? Like, they're having all these, they're trying to dramatically leave, swooping her off her feet. What's going on in there?
What was that?
Yeah. So again, he puts her to bed. Like, you really, this guy's a charmer. He's the guy's like, no, I'm just putting you to bed because you need that. But then she holds him close again, kind of that.
I'm putting something on for no unrelated reason. So just keep talking for a sec.
So it's, again, really interestingly in that kind of vein of I don't really know the boundaries of this because my boundaries have been violated at an early age. She's kind of gravitating a little more forwardly towards Finnegan than she should. And Finnegan's pointing out, listen, Norma, you really shouldn't be doing this. Again, she's kissing him and turning into a sexual thing. And she might not want to do that intentionally, but it's just it's happening. So again, realistic psychology going on there. It's really fascinating. I think. Would you agree? Right. So let's see. So again, she's
okay.
put a
I'm
lot
sorry.
of faith.
Where are we?
Well, basically,
okay,
she's put a lot of faith in Finnegan here, and it's a really good dynamic they have. And yeah, so basically, she's kind of crossed the boundaries of intimacy here, and she's kind of blurring the lines because she doesn't know what those lines are.
Indeed.
Interesting stuff. So then Dylan awakens here,
Oh dear.
And he sees he hears a noise. He hears like a whisk sound in the kitchen, which is kind of the earmarks of our classic breakfast scenes. I'm so glad that paid off. We bring it up enough that there are a lot of kind of breakfast scenes in this show. And we see it's not Norma because Norma's getting intimate with Finnegan, and again, classic Bates Motel. Something good's happening to one member of the Bates family. Something bad's happening to the other two.
Yeah, something straight up terrifying.
And it's this. And let me play it for your full glory here. So again, for your consideration, Freddie Highmore for the Emmy.
What are you doing? Sit down, honey. Just making some breakfast. French toast. You feeling better? Oh, I'm fine. Blackberries yesterday. You get them out of the fridge? Norma? Norma's sleeping.
Oh my God.
Blackberries. They're on the bottom shelf. Okay. Oh, I'm fine. Maybe just go wake up your brother so he can. My brother? You're silly. What's wrong with you? Nothing's wrong with you. So run upstairs. You know how Norma is. He'll sleep all morning if you don't wake him up.
Oh my god. So again, just give Highmore all of Anna Gunn's Emmys right there. Just throw them on. Even lend him. I'm going to go this far. I'm going to say, just lease him or lend him or rent him in some way one of Cranston's. Because
wow.
I'm just saying like a timeshare. I'm not saying give it to him. Just like share it with him. Oh my god, fantastic.
Like I said, 25 episodes into the show, I think it's a perfect time for this particular scene.
Oh yeah, so we've been building towards this scene, as we said in the game. We finally see him go full Norma. I mean, absolutely full Norma.
Right,
I mean, he is this close to a dress. I mean, I saw him, I saw the lack of legs on the costuming. And at first I was thinking, oh my god, is he in the dress? But no, then it's even better. He's in the robe because it's breakfast time.
Oh yes.
Oh my god, I was geeking out so much during this scene. But
I love the little moment like where she's just like wow, I said she because it's so convincing.
Oh my god. He had all the mannerisms down. It was amazing.
Oh, I know, like just the movements and everything. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's like him saying silly. It was exactly like
oh no, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like yeah, when he says silly, what's wrong with you?
Yes, that's the line. Oh my god. And it's like, Norman Hill, so the most demented realistic part of it is just mentioning himself, like just mentioning like, oh, your brother, and Norman, he'll sleep all day if he has to.
Right.
I mean, first of all, again, this out of all the times I've made this reference, I don't think it's as much true as in that one scene in season 2, but here's the most, for me, it's been true that Dylan is a young Bruce Wayne in this scene dealing with a crazy person he cannot predict. You got to admit it.
I absolutely agree.
Like the second time watching the scene, I'm just drawn to his reactions to this. I'm like, oh my god, the way he's interpreting it is like he is so terrified, but he's putting on a face of like, yeah, everything's fine. He's just completely off his game. Like, oh, what is happening here? Sure.
Yeah. Right. And he is just doing such a good job of keeping up the front.
Now remember, we have never Dylan. Only Caleb has seen full Norma.
That's true. That's a good point.
Okay, so now Caleb, and it's funny, it's in a weird way, it's like in the same lineage. So Caleb has seen it now, Dylan. So maybe there's some dark foreshadowing there, perhaps, of like only these two guys, or at least for the longest time, these two guys are going to see full Norma. At least they're the first two to see full Norma. Maybe they're going to meet their ends at full Norma's hand.
Sure.
Perhaps, we'll see. But the point is, oh my god, such a great scene. Again, Highmore, he did Farmiga better than Farmiga. I don't want to toot my own horn here. I called it because how could he not? He's such a good actor.
Oh, you absolutely called it for sure.
Oh god, just seeing him in that room, he help your brother. Oh my god. And he was making French toast.
I'll go ahead and take the robe off since it's hot as hell.
Yes, by all means, they could do that. Okay, so now let's see, it's 7:15.
It's 7:15.
Yeah.
And Norman, I wrote in my notes, Norman's still sleeping.
Yep. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I missed a golden opportunity here, but let me play. What would Dylan's reaction be to that? What could his only possible reaction be to just seeing that? Let's hear it.
What was that?
Just like imagine.
No truer words have ever been spoken.
It would be hilarious if a fan or something just edited a previous scene of just Dylan walking out of the kitchen to get his brother, quote unquote. Like they go out there and get Norman, because obviously Norman's not there. Just like for a moment, just think to himself, really say it. What was that? Anyway, so then there were the kind of the aftermath of the scene, which is kind of a neat move. So now we're just, it's 7:15 in the morning. Emma is like she's stroking Norman's head.
Yeah, and again, I really want to know how far Emma saw of this state.
I know. I was reading the thing we're going to talk about. I didn't see any reference to it, but it makes me wait on end to see if it's going to be referenced in the next blog.
Right.
So again, I love how Emma's in dark. I'm wondering if, again, it's a good question, like how far did they go? I'm thinking Dylan put him back to bed.
I think you might be onto it. I think maybe he put him back to bed. Like
you'll notice, either Norman did this or Dylan did this. I'm thinking Dylan because he changed him back in his clothes. Emma wouldn't know, so Emma does not know, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, I hear you.
Like the only thing I'm expecting is maybe I was expecting with this blog post was that she would have mentioned I could have sworn I heard Norma. I must have been mistaken.
Uh-huh.
I would have loved it if that were to happen, but basically, so Emma was there through the whole thing. Good for Emma, and like Dylan has this really sincere moment of thanks, and I love that.
Dude,
it's a moment of hey Emma, thanks for sticking out. She just takes it in stride, saying, "Well, I'll see you in a few hours."
And I guess this is a good place to do the blog.
Yeah, so let's get Emma's views on what happened in this episode, as far as she's concerned.
Okay, so the title of the blog is I haven't slept in 48 hours. So
this
please
is really
excuse
moving.
any. Yeah.
So
in 48 hours. So please excuse any typos. My whole body feels weak. Like I have a very thin grasp on reality. But before I crash, I have to get this out of my head. Have you ever had a crush on someone? You see him and you just know he's your person. You're sure of it. Because how could someone who makes you feel like this be wrong? And it's not just him you fall for, but the whole package. The firecracker of a mother who feels everything so acutely. And the kind underappreciated brother. So you wait for him to get the picture, because the picture could be perfect if only he saw you. And then one day he does. Suddenly you're living in a dream world you didn't even realize you had constructed. But as time goes by, you're thinking, gosh, this isn't exactly what I pictured. It all looks right, the players and the setting, but it feels off. And then one day, it's as if the scaffolding is crumbling all around you, and you're left asking, who is Norman Bates? The truth is, I saw a sight of Norman last night I've never seen before, and it occurred to me that the guy I fell for was an illusion. I'd taken liberties, filling in the gaps. I was thinking he couldn't see me, but it was me that didn't see him. Now I don't want you to think that now I don't want you to think that finding out Norman isn't who I thought he was means I'm going to leave him behind. I care about him. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm so thankful to Dylan for letting me in last night. He showed me such incredible strength in the face of uncertainty. I hope Norman knows how much Dylan loves him, how much I love him too. So what happens now? What will be left when the dust settles? And what am I going to say to him?
Oh, I love that ending. First of all, it makes you wait on hair's end to see how Emma's going to treat Norman from this point forward. She still sounds interested as ever. Like she really loves just being in on what's happening with the people she cares so much about. She's finally gotten in with. She's been kept out so many times. There's been them dancing around her. Now she kind of gets an insight to kind of the horrors of this family.
Sure.
And it feels really gratifying to give Emma some good moments. Of course, a lot of danger there, because if she gets let in too far, then they have to get her out of there.
Oh dear, yeah.
So I mean, really, really,
she'll end up like B.
Who's B?
I'd get one in there this episode.
Certainly. Okay, so let's see. So it's funny as one. By the way, the most I think it's in this scene. Oh yeah, it's in the scene. So we get this really great shot after Emma left of Dylan going to the bedroom. And again, we see Norman's changed. I assume Dylan changed him, or either just in a weird blackout mode. He drifted out of blackout mode, changed back. We don't know.
No.
Dylan has this great shot just looking over the bed, looking at his brothers, thinking, what am I going to do? What do we do from this point? After what I just saw, what now? And all he does is he kind of, and this may sound creepy just on paper, but I say it, he lays down next to his brother on the bed to watch over him, and just kind of.
I don't think that's creepy.
No, I'm saying if you lay out kind of like on paper, out of context, he sleeps with his brother in bed.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Point is, it's a really kind of sweet moment where these kind of like I just love the idea, and later on with the shot of like the two Bates boys in bed together, the mother overlooking them.
Uh-huh.
And in a way, in this scene, mother is with them in a demented way.
Oh yeah.
But really, really interesting stuff. Just the idea Dylan is there with his brother no matter what craziness surrounds them. No matter what it seems, he's just going to be. He is his brother, and the two of them in bed together. It's nice.
Indeed, indeed.
So then, as they sleep, the other one awakens. So again, really good kind of scale balancing act with the Bates family here.
Indeed, indeed.
So basically, let's follow Norma the night after Finnegan most likely will be losing his license, but he'll be proud of it. But in all seriousness, here's the thing.
I'm going home. I have to go.
Norma, okay, stop. I know it doesn't seem like it, but you're in a very fragile state right now. You need to stop worrying about everybody else and just take care of yourself.
I hear you, but I can't take care of myself. I'm a mother. Now I have to go talk to my horrible brother. You know what? I have no choice because it's my sons.
Yeah, and what about your own needs?
Parents do not have needs. You ever read the book The Giving Tree? It's about a tree, and this kid keeps coming and taking stuff from it his whole life until there's nothing left but a stump. And then the kid sits on the stump. That's being a parent.
Wonder what Chick Hogan would say to that.
Oh, I love these literary references.
So yeah, with that literary reference, first of all, I think the reason why I told you I have talked to secretaries about this show, and they watch it religiously. They love it. I think the reason they gravitate towards Norma is because they are mothers themselves, and they just they love that Norma is kind of the mother that says what kind of a stressed out single mom would say.
Sure, absolutely.
Like what they're thinking. Like she'll do anything. It's so endearing. No one will do anything for her kids, even if it's unthinkable. But she'll do anything for her kids, and it does drain on her, and she puts those needs before her own. And that's why she's in the state she's in all the time. Yeah. It's not very endearing about it. Of course, the Giving Tree is. I'd never thought of it before. Yeah, that is the perfect reference.
It's a great analogy. It really is.
Yeah. And again, I love how Finnegan's like he's doing the actual the thing. It's like I believe it's psychologist. I forget there is a difference between psychologist and psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist is someone who prescribes the medication. Psychologist is someone that you talk to.
Well,
that's the difference.
Okay, so yeah, he's the one you talk to. Okay. Yeah, he's following procedure there to a T. He's doing responsible stuff. You're saying, listen, you should really take it easy. You got to focus on you right now. Working yourself ragged like this, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. It's not helping you.
Sure.
Good. Again, points are. I'm really liking Finnegan. I've really grown to like Finnegan.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay, let's see. What's the next scene? Oh yes. Speaking of what Chick Hogan has to say on the matter. We have him talking to Caleb, who's still going to mulling over his big leave action right now.
You sure you don't want any boar jerky, Caleb?
Let's see, how's that scene start?
Hey. What happened? So I'm gonna leave.
Oh my god, this is the most. Again, this guy is the creepiest, most off the walls wacky of all the Bates Motel characters.
I think, yeah, I definitely think so. He is insane.
The moment pause of just like morning neighbor, how are you? Just the moment of, okay, so I'm gonna go. And then basically after that, he basically says, "So I wanted to get you an answer from you on like if you want to be a driver or not for that job I got going on." Now in terms of Caleb, he doesn't think he has anything left to do here, so he's gonna at least earn some cash and get on the lam again. And so he basically says, "Okay, if I do a driving job, what's when is it? It's a few days from now." So okay, I might be interested. Then he asked this.
driving? Need to worry about that now. When you need to know, I'll tell you.
Ooh, mysterious.
Very, very mysterious. So just like,
There's nothing mysterious about bull jerky.
Yes, there's only one thing that makes you feel better. Boar jerky.
Bull jerky.
This guy is so demented and quotable.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so
All right.
let's see. So then again, we have that beautiful shot of like the mother overlooking her boys in bed. And if Norma were in a better mood, she'd say, "Oh, that's adorable." But no, she's in a little lousy mood right now. So this happens. Let me play this wonderfulness out for you before we hit our emotional end points.
Wake up. Norma? Wake up, Norman. Mother. Come on, get up. We gotta go. Where are we going? We're going to the farm to talk to your uncle.
This might not be the best help. You don't have to. It was a bad idea.
It doesn't matter. Damage is done. We're going.
Why are we doing this?
Because I said we're doing it.
I don't want to go.
Well, neither do I. But I'm not going to be the one who says I won't talk to your dad because I hate him because he raped me. That's not what we're here to do. So get in the damn car!
Oh dear, oh dear.
Wait for it.
Why does she have this car?
Oh my god! Let me tell you why I love this so much. This bit right here, for many reasons. One, you know me, I love my mundanity, and I love kind of it's kind of in the vein of kind of man-children-ish in a way. I mean that more in terms of I can imagine that they're acting like they got a chance to revert back to like being little kids in this scene. Like,
I don't want to go.
just Dylan saying, "I don't want to go." Just cracks me up so much because they sound like kids in that scene. I'm just almost imagining like they're like, I'm not saying that you don't have to draw a stick. I'm just saying, like not
Yeah,
Peanuts.
damn right, I don't have to draw it.
Not well, I know you can't draw it.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, I'm just imagining not Peanuts versions, but say little chibi kid versions. Like if you've ever seen the wonderful comic Little Gotham, imagine Little Gotham versions. Seriously, look it up if you can afterwards. Like what Little Gotham is.
I will certainly do that.
Basically, Little Gotham versions of Dylan. Of Dylan and Norma with like a slightly taller Norma, because again she's still pretty short. Like a slightly taller Norma is like saying, "Well, we got to go do this, but I don't want to go, Mother." And then just like the mundane kid chat of like, wait, she got a new car? Wait, now's not the time to ask questions.
I also love just the absolutely delighted look on Freddie Highmore's face when he sees her. He's just like,
Mother. It's such a Brave Little Toaster mannerism.
Oh god.
Like the blanket from Brave Little Toaster in that line delivery.
Oh dear. Oh,
and then again, I'll tell you one thing though. I just love just the saying this. By the way, I wrote for the nickname for this scene is like it's a Bates family road trip.
Oh dear.
It's like mom driving to the market on a Sunday or something. Like they're going to the pharmacy on a Sunday. It would just happen to
I don't want to go. I don't want to go see Uncle Caleb.
Didn't he rape you, Mother?
Oh god.
Can Emma go? No, she can't go. This is us. We're spending quality time together. But I like Emma. Not right now, Norman.
Oh dear.
Oh my. Anyway, so while we're just having fanfic moments here, let's go through the powerful ending.
Yeah, so basically she arrives at the farm. She gets out of the car, and Caleb just rushes out of the RV. The two stare each other down for a couple seconds, but then she kind of runs the opposite direction. Caleb then, I feel maybe a little bit out of line, grabs her arm, but he just starts just absolutely breaking down, sobbing. I love how he calls her Norma Louise, and then he's just like, "I'm so sorry. I am so sorry," and just repeats that. And then Norma, she's at first, you know, when he gets down on his knees and starts hugging her leg, she doesn't really know what to do with it. But then eventually she kind of comes around. She kind of gets down to his level and embraces him. And yeah, it's really emotional.
Now again, it's a little kind of like the submission of that, like, you know, he's like, just to make sure, just to signal he's absolutely no threat, that he's completely remorseful. He's dropping to the ground, like begging for forgiveness. Like it's like the whole like kissing the foot gag in animation. You know, it's like that. It's just like he's completely sorry for his actions, just begging for forgiveness, and that's why immediately he does like a seemingly violent action, grabbing the arm. He's like, no, I just need to grab your attention. Just please forgive me. I'm so sorry. And it gives such credence to Norma Louise as a title of him saying it by the end.
It does. It absolutely does. Yeah.
And then the really big thing, and I love this, their ending, before we just kind of see that shot again of like him clinging to her leg when there's the two of them kind of, you know, they embrace.
Hold on, I'm having that audio issue again. So just bear with me. I'm sorry. Shit. Well, yeah, I can't hear you right now. Oh, he disappeared. I thought I couldn't hear him. Oh dear. And my audio's gone. Wow. Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh my God. This is just going so swimmingly, isn't it? Okay, let me see if I can get the audio back. Hey, you there, man? Hello?
Hello.
Oh dear.
I'm back. Oh, hello.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
All right, sorry about that, folks. What was the last thing?
Literally, my audio went out and you dropped at the exact same time. It was awful.
Sorry, folks. I think we're good now. So what I was getting at was the last two shots I really loved. Before we get that shot like him clinging to her, is Dylan gives this really guarded yet hopeful look. There's like a slight bit of hopefulness in his face of like, you know, I know this is dark circumstances, but he got the, you know, he got that forgiveness. So at least that kind of that moment to say I'm sorry. And like they're talking, like I got him to do the impossible. They're talking, maybe something good will come out of this. Who knows?
Indeed.
That guarded hopefulness, and then here's the moment. Then we see Norman's reaction to it, and Norman gives kind of he's really jealous.
Yeah, because anyone standing between, you know, him and Norma is no bueno.
Let alone the guy that raped her at some point in time.
Oh God, right. It's bad news.
I remember last time he met Caleb, he tried to kill him. So
sure,
there are obviously some mixed emotions there. He does not care for Caleb at all, and just the fact that he doesn't care for Caleb, he's instantly jealous of what. First of all, I can just imagine Highmore. I'm hoping that we're going to see kind of a George thing going on with this. Of just you can feel the hatred burning. I want to accelerate. Just seeing how amazing Heimel was in this episode. You know what I'm expecting? I'm expecting like a moment. I'm not saying it has to be this to a T. I'm just saying emotionally, just to feel every moment that his finger is. There's like a moment that any contact is happening between Caleb and Norma, he wants to kill him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm expecting like just to feel the unbridled hatred of just him looking at her, of just him absolutely hating Caleb to a T, like wanting to burn him alive almost. I'm saying that I want the hatred to be that deep. I just want like George times 10 with this guy.
Oh dear.
And we thought his hatred of George was fantastic and just well acted. It just, you could feel the hatred burning off. It's like, ouch, that hurts me just looking at that.
Okay, so really quickly, let's go through couple of. You want to go through the blackouts?
Sure. So yeah, it's kind of up in the air with the whole blacks, like what triggers what. But we're gonna settle on two blackouts because he basically blackout up to the taxidermy point where he had vivid hallucinations and like visions, which is stage 1 of blackout mode. He went to sleep at various points, but then he was in a zombified state, walking from point A to point B, saying, I want my mother. So that's blackout 1. Blackout 2 was just when he's going full Norma.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna add 2 to the tally,
which would make 5 blackouts altogether. Ignore that smudge. It's not a mark. It's just a smudge. I'm sorry.
That's not gonna be confusing at all.
No, not at all.
So
I
then,
apologize for that.
right, so, okay, so let's see what else. So should we go through the rest of our little fun gags here?
Yeah, really quick. You mean the death pods?
Yes.
Okay, really quickly. Emma, last week she was at 70% because of her health concerns. We now raised her to 80%. Norma, she's kind of like just more in the thick of things now, so she goes up a little bit, especially in terms of like Bob Harris and everything. So she goes up from 65 to 70. Caleb, he goes down just a bit because he's in the good graces of Norma, but there's still Norman lurking, so he goes down from 83 to 80.
And the driving job.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Dylan, he goes up just a tiny bit from 62 to 65 because, again, he's still getting in the thick of things. Doesn't look good in terms of, like, will Norman kind of retaliate? So, yeah, he's going up. Romero, he kind of took a big leap. I mean, of course, because he's getting attacked from all angles. He's a badass, but we don't know just how much he can survive. So he goes up from 53% last week to 65% this week. Cupcake Boy! He goes from 40 to 45% just because, you know, everyone's after the flash drive. He's technically got the flash drive, so he might be an innocent bystander of that. And then the new faces that we've added. You want to talk about why Bob Harris is at 60%?
Well, obviously he's messing with Romero, which kind of marks him for death. Usually, plus the bad guys of the series usually don't have a long season life.
No, not
Christine.
Not really,
we'll see if Christine comes back next season, but it's not looking good for her.
And again, Bradley, still waiting on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then Finnegan, I think he's at a 50% just because, you know, getting close to Norma is never a good thing for characters. But at the same time, I could see it. Like, we don't know if this is just going to be, like, if it's going to be the relationship or it's just going to be a relationship. And if it's just a relationship that she gets herself into, then gets herself out of, he could be safe. If the more intimate she gets with him and the closer she gets in the company of Norman, that's going to determine if he dies or not.
Plus, I mean,
really quickly, do you want to turn? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, even think about if people who want Normero at the end of the day, which would mean there'd be a breakup. Plus, he knows too much, which kind of seals his fate. You can't know too much in this universe and expect to live.
True. True. Do you want to quickly go over Chick Hogan's death rates?
Yeah. So we didn't. This one's just we forgot to mention this guy. I'm going to put him at 40. Would you agree with me there?
I don't know. Just because, again, like you said about the villains, I feel like villains on this show never really last too long. So I feel like Chick Hogan's is kind of like a rare treat. I don't know. I would maybe put him maybe around 55 or 60 myself.
Oh, we'll put him at 55.
55, all right. Because bored, yeah.
Okay, and obviously we've added a new name to our kind of our deceased, our recently deceased residents of White Pine Bay. We've added Marcus Young to the tombstone.
I don't have the tombstone on me. I'm sorry. I'll get that next week. I'm sorry.
Let me rephrase that. We will put his name on the tombstone. You'll see it next time.
But I knew I was forgetting something.
Luckily, you didn't forget your black socks. Luckily.
No, I have them.
He has black socks.
They're right here if you want to borrow them.
Okay, so let's discuss the promo.
Okay, really quickly, let's talk about what's going on.
So biggest things in the promo, really fantastic hype for the promo. Okay, so when we see, so Dylan's telling Norma about his blackouts, he was wearing your robe, he thinks he's you. That's not good. That means things are going to escalate even further. And we're moving at a pretty good pace this season so far, so that's going to be explosive, I'm sure.
Indeed.
And I'm thinking she's going to be calling Finnegan in to help deal with that, and that's going to end up with this really awesome face-off I can't wait for. Is that Norman, Finnegan's going to be in the basement with Norman.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that is, oh, boy.
And I just watched it before we went on here, and you know what it looks like? It looks like he's strangling him.
Norman is strangling Finnegan?
Yeah, basically he's holding him. He's like being really physical with him. Like it looks like Finnegan's trying to grasp for air or like just some leverage or something. Like he's really holding him down there.
Oh, that is not good at all.
So again, I'm thinking regardless, he's getting violent. He's not appreciating Finnegan. Here's the best part with Finnegan. And this promo is really, out of all the promos, I think this is the best one because they edit it, and they edit it really well. That it's they use the malevolent psycho Norman in the dialogue for this promo. So when I say malevolent Norman, it's like the whole like I've been silenced long enough, and he's literally And in this he's directly quoting Psycho. He says, "You people with your opinions, we see a shot of Dylan. Your judgments, we see Norma. Arrogance, we see Caleb. In your theories, then we see Finnegan."
Oh, it's so cool. It's so
so
cool.
he's literally quoting Psycho like what he was doing with Marion Crane. He's saying like, "You people with your," and then he said, I believe he said to Finnegan, like, "How dare you come into my house and you ask me these?" The one's like, how dare you come to my house and say these things?" And then he's trying like look like he attacked him or something.
Sure.
So boy, and then also the creepiest shot, he's caressing a silk-clad Norma.
Oh yeah, not good.
And the bit from the trailer, him caressing Norma asleep, and oh my god, that's creepy. Also, we saw a really awesome shot from Romero. Romero apparently he he attached the note to the body of Marcus Young, saying he officially withdraws from the sheriff election.
Oh dear.
Oh my god, that is perfect.
Really quickly, the episode is called The Last Supper. So any theories there?
Well, we saw a shot in the trailer of all the men at dinner tables, so I'm gonna assume that's where we're gonna get that.
Okay, could a betrayal be involved?
Betrayal. Well, obviously Norma's going to feel betrayed by just the fact that Finnegan's been let in on secrets.
Okay.
So I think the big thing, just from the fact he's attacking Finnegan, is that his jealousy is going to be ramped up this episode. So I'm thinking Dylan is probably still going to be on the docket there, and especially Caleb. But I think Finnegan's also going to be the main target if he's going to like approach the beast like that. Like saying, "Hey Norman, you're the guy who's been saying this whole time to you that Finnegan's like maybe try to analyze Norman. That's not going to go so well."
Exactly, right.
To a T, it would seem.
Okay. Let's see. I have one other thing to speculate on, just kind of minor, but we lost our awesome season finale title.
Yeah.
We were so excited about the Psycho, and now it's Unconscious. I mean, I'm sure Unconscious refers to Blackouts, and I'm sure it'll be awesome, but that's kind of a shame. That's kind of a shame.
You don't have the rest of the titles in front of you, do you?
Episode 8 is The Pit. Episode 9 is Crazy.
Crazy. Oh, God, Crazy. I had no idea. At least they kept that one. That one. Crazy.
Hogan. She's crazy about his boy jerk ass.
I think the Pit's going to have a big role for Caleb.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I could see that. Maybe even it's kind of a getting some flashbacks in there.
I wonder if it's going to be like a weird team up of Dylan and Caleb on that drive together.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I could see that. All right. Well, last thing we want to do, unless you have any last speculation.
No, just well, I guess I don't know when it's going to happen. Well, I guess. Sorry, one last thing. Bradley Martin. So we should address that. So yeah, she has been said, like, officially she was going to be in this season at some point. However, I'm thinking this is kind of a good news in terms of it doesn't seem like this is going to be the final season, which is fantastic because we want more seasons.
Oh yeah, at least 5.
It makes me think that they've realized, well, we're gonna introduce Bradley Martin towards the end there, and maybe we'll just have a bigger role for her next season. But she'll be in the town. Maybe she doesn't meet anyone. Maybe he's in the town. Maybe that's like the last episode reveal or something. I don't know.
Could be, and I've always speculated that I think if we're gonna see her, we're gonna see her within the Arcanum Club.
Yes. However, here's a dark idea, and this I kind of hoping against, but I mean they could make it. Again, in the grand scheme, they can make Celos on this. Who knows? But I know I'm going to be really bummed out if this happens. If let's say episode 8, Emma dies.
Aw.
I'm just saying, let's say it happens. And in the last 2, they introduce Bradley to fill the void.
Okay, I could see that.
So I'm worried about
going from a nice girl to a not so nice girl.
I think in the grand scheme that might happen. If Emma does die, that would be where Bradley would become useful again. But
I could see that. I could see where we're going with that. Okay.
It's
okay.
still we love Emma, the nice girl that she is, and still going to be kind of sad to see her go.
Indeed. All right. So really quick, what's your quick 30-second final thoughts on the episode?
Yeah, this is probably my favorite one of this season. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic in that scene. So many great scenes, really good psychological analysis on Norman and Norma, and of course Romero had some really awesome moments. And again, I'm surprised how far they went with the writing on this. Is a really big episode for Vera Farmiga, and big one for Freddie Highmore. It was just all around fantastic. I was right. It was the big one. See, episode 6 is always the big one in Bates Motel. It's a proven fact.
Yeah, I definitely think that this episode contains some of the best overall scenes of the entire series. I'd say definitely the bit with the bird was one of the creepiest things I've ever seen on the show. And of course, the full arrival of Mother was that's going to be an iconic moment when all is said and done. And also, of course, Romero being such a that was probably, by all intents and purposes, probably the most badass we've ever seen Romero.
Yeah, so he's going to break the meter at this point.
All right, so I guess will that do it?
Well, I just got to close this out with a familiar word.
Oh, dear.
May I?
Yes.
Okay. Food for thought, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa, 2 of them. Okay. And that'll do it for us on Talking to Mrs. Bates. And don't forget, when in doubt, go to your bull jerker. Oh, yeah.